How you doing? How y'all doing? So, um, I am Lauren News K, and I am the owner of At Your Service 52240 LLC, and I am making this video for you. No, so welcome to my channel. Um, Make sure you subscribe so you can know what's going on, so you can see my future content. Make sure you like so it can pull it up in the algorithm so other people can know more about this content, for people who have the same struggles, the same successes or interests, who can use this information, and comment in the chat, because I want to hear from you, and we can encourage and hear from one another. So we're gonna keep our chat and our comments positive and things such as that, or I'm gonna have to turn them off. And I don't want to do that, because I want this to be a place where we can be encouraged and we can become the best part of who God created us to be. My faith is who I am. That's my foundation of my life, and so you're going to hear me mention every now and again, or every so often, about my faith and my struggles and my successes in this series in particular, especially, but probably throughout my business, because that's just my belief and my foundation. So yeah, it's a part of me, so I'm gonna be sharing if it comes up. Not intentionally, but when you love something and you enjoy it and it's who you are, you talk about it, you mention it. And so let me tell you about At Your Service 52240. At Your Service 52240 is a company where we teach businesses and corporations and professionals service animal identification training. We also teach basically service animal etiquette. We have host these events called meet not greets, where our clients do, where we go out and we teach service animal etiquette and basic dog etiquette. We also teach, help me Lord. We also do accommodations, help businesses accommodate their employees who have service animals. And so, like, what that looks like, what the law looks like, how can they come in, is it a reasonable accommodation in his work environment? In most cases it is. And then what and where and how they can structure that for their employees. So if their employee is a person that has disabilities who use service animals, how can you help them be able to perform their best at work while accommodating them and their service animal? With the teaching service animal identification part, we teach businesses how to safely and respectfully welcome people who are their patronage into their spaces. I don't need that no more. In their spaces safely and respectfully, and we teach them the law and how to also own their own rights as a business when it comes to ADA compliance regarding service animals, because there's a lot of businesses, they just don't know. But this video is not really about that. This video is more about this series called Behind the Brand. So what this series is about is basically the highs and lows of a disabled entrepreneur, myself, building my I keep wanting to say multi-billion-dollar business. And so multi-million-dollar business, we'll say that for right now, but hey, I'm going to speak this into existence. And so I know some people are like, well, what can you do with a whole bunch of millions? What can you do with a whole billions of dollars? You can change people's lives, not just my own, and I intend to do that. And so, anyway, while I answer this question in this series, I am going to be putting together this organizing cart for my at-home office. While I talk about these topics, it's just a couple today, just the high and the low. And I'm not sure if I want to start with the high or the low first. I've been thinking about it. I guess I'll start with the low, and then we'll end on the high note. And so I'm gonna find the instructions to this, because it's always good to know the instructions when you're doing things. And so this is going to cross off 2 things on my list of what to do today. And yeah, starting with the low. If you don't know me, you haven't been following me, I have some invisible disabilities that can become physical disabilities. And hold on, give me a sec. Make sure it's still filming. Okay, great. All right. If you hear squeaker in the back, that's my service dog. He in this corner. I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm not gonna call his name because he's chilling right now. And if I do, we are in so my office, my home office is in my living room area, but I use it for my office. And you should, I have videos posted of me like putting it together. It's not finished, but it's looking pretty good. But because we are in our home environment, he just basically, he don't get to do what he wants, but he's more comfortable. So I don't want to disturb his peace right now, because I'm working on this. So anyway, I'm knocking off 2 things. And the first thing we're going to talk about, I said I was going to talk about the lows. And the low that we're going to talk about today on Behind the Brand is invisible don't mean easy, right? And I'm going to discuss some challenges with my disabilities, or like some symptoms that I have in doing business every day. One of the challenges that I have is that because of my disability, one of the things that I combat is fibromyalgia, and it's often silent or invisible disability, because you can't really see somebody. Some of the main symptoms is chronic pain, chronic fatigue, and I would say as well, it has side effects of mental disabilities. Like, you could suffer from it as well. And reason being is because if you're in a flare-up, you can be in so much pain, it's difficult for you to think. You can have some fear around it. Sometimes, unfortunately, I do have some fear around it as well. And the fear comes from when you don't have pain for a while, you get afraid to do too much or too little. This is very interesting. I think it's a neurological disease. I was gonna say situation, but because like certain pain medicines does not touch or help alleviate. Like Tylenol doesn't work, Aleve doesn't work, ibuprofen doesn't work, like to a certain extent. Like, and when I mean to a certain extent, I mean it don't work. And I would say that, especially, like, I haven't, and even in the beginning, I would take that stuff and it just did not work out for me. And anybody else that I know that has or that is currently combating fibromyalgia, I'm sure they will let you know that it's difficult to combat fibromyalgia with just over-the-counter meds, and even like I had a surgery while suffering with fibromyalgia, and even with that, it was I took OxyContin, and even with OxyContin, it wasn't it didn't really touch it because my pain was deep within my body. So back to the topic, invisible doesn't mean easy. And so some people, I ain't gonna say some people, one may think that when, somebody suffers from I'm supposed to be reading the directions, suffers from an invisible disability, you would think that because this person may not walk around with a cane, this person doesn't has a wheelchair, this person isn't in a cast, or is most likely not missing a limb or anything like that, that they are pretty much able to do more things like an able-bodied person. And I can only talk about the chronic illness and pain and symptoms that I combat from my own experience, right? And so that's why I'm here. But as a business owner, and even as a regular daily routine situation, is not very true. Although someone can't see the pain that I'm in, right, and they don't know the severity of it, it can still affect me physically in a way that I may not be able to walk, or I may be so fatigued that I have to rest all day, or I may have combat a migraine, or I have to stay in the bed, I have to turn off all my lights. And some other challenges is that you may not be able to eat as well because you can't get up to cook for yourself, or you can't clean, right? And that causes you not to be able to cook. And when you can't cook, you can't eat. And you can't eat, you can't take your medicine. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's a challenge. And then also having to show up every day in some form or fashion and become an entrepreneur. Now, for some of us entrepreneurs, I had to take the entrepreneur route, which I'm grateful for, but it's still challenging, very much so, because it's already challenging being an entrepreneur in general. But then you put a disability on top of that, and you put a disability caused by a illness like fibromyalgia with a combination of ADHD and like some other stuff that I don't want to discuss, but it's just some mental health things, not schizophrenia or nothing like that, but some things that I think that some people, like, I don't think some people think ADHD is a challenge, right? Or depression. They don't think those are challenges. They don't think that anxiety is a challenge. Like, some people don't think that PTSD can be a disability sometimes for someone who hasn't served, and been in the military or a vet, right? And so just know that these things can pile up. Like I said earlier, that's my service dog, keep behind me. And become a big ball of a challenge, and it can knock you down. Alright, it can knock you down. So those things, man, this is more difficult than I thought. My Lord have mercy. I'm kind of happy I'm doing this one first, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So yeah, those things may not seem like a challenge for some people, but it is. Chronic fatigue, for example. I used to tell people that I was tired, like I'm so tired, right? And when I found out that fatigue and tired is not the same thing, because when you're tired, you can continue to go on, right? When you're tired, you can take a second, right, and catch your breath and keep going. I like to think about when I'm tired. If I was an older person, I don't know, you was growing up, but like you'll see these dudes like leaning on something, you know what I'm saying, and resting for a second, but they can like still move their arms, and you know, just fatigue is like, for me, how I experience fatigue sometimes when my body shut down and it's like, no, you're not getting up, or you go to sleep and you don't even know you sleep. Not like narcolepsy. That's a whole nother story for another day. But like literally, you haven't done much. You've done a couple of things or even one thing that day, and you're exhausted. You know, physically. It's very frustrating, and it be like that sometimes. So the struggle between not feeling guilty and, you know, resting and feeling like you accomplished something is challenging. It can take a toll on you mentally, and that happens more often than not, and you have to remind yourself that this is my body and this is what it can do. And even though I can do lots of things, I may not be able to do those lots of things today, right? And so I like to think that we're supposed to click this on. Let me read the instructions. Place flat on the ground, install. I think it's supposed to click. You know what? I should have. I should have read these directions because I wasn't supposed to put these wheels on here first. Anyway, the deed is done. It's giving. I'm finna. Woo, it's all right. Look at me. Look at me. I might have strong. Okay. But yeah. So with that challenge, being able to figure out, okay, basically not feeling guilty about it, but then like you know, everybody have lazy days too, and having disabilities, it ain't no different, you know. But then like, I don't know about you, right, but when I have lazy days, I start feeling like guilty because you had a lazy day, but you're not sure if tomorrow is you gonna be in a flare up. You know what I'm saying? Because taking the time to rest for me now is also working, right? And until I have the people and the systems completely set up the way I need them to be and desire them to be, to function in a way that I don't have to. Oh Lord. Hold on. Let me look at the instructions, y'all. Show up that way. I definitely sometimes try to feel guilty about that. And I was supposed to be looking. And yeah, I don't want to feel guilty about that. But sometimes you do. Sometimes you feel that way because, you know, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. 2 and 2. I usually read the directions, y'all, but I thought this was gonna be easy, so I didn't. Anywho, so anyway, okay, I'm correct. I'm right. I'm correct. So anyways, yeah. So you want you don't know if you're gonna basically if you gonna have a flare up the next day, and that could cause you to go into some kind of depressive cycle as well. Because and then what else could cause you to go into like some kind of depressive cycle is because if you don't work a regular job, right, and if you're unable to work a regular job and you tested this out so you know that you can't, you have people that will recommend jobs for you. Sometimes you ain't asked them. A lot of times you don't ask. And then sometimes you don't ask, and they just don't understand what you're capable of doing. It's like, I am capable, but not the capacity that this other person can, or the average person can. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm building this, right? But I'm taking a lot of energy to press down and stuff like that, and I've done some stuff already today. And even I get mentally fatigued, right? When my brain is just like, I'm done. I have combination ADHD. It's great, but it's frustrating too. And so sometimes when I take my medicine and my medicine helps me to focus, my mind wants to go on, right? Because then my mind is on, and it weeds stuff out and it focus, right? But sometimes my body is like, you're at the end of your frame, so you either wrap it up, you go take a nap. Sometimes I have to take a naps in my work day. Like, I have to split them up, or I have to cancel it, whatever I have to do, and then do it the next day or when I can. And so that's kind of like one of the things about one of the lows that I wanted to hit on today with invisible doesn't mean easy, right? And so looks can be deceiving. It can look like somebody is well capable, but you don't know what they're able or not able to do. And so we should just be careful with that kind of thing. Bless you. So the next thing we're gonna end on a high is we're gonna talk about owning my story, right? And how embracing my disabilities became a part of my branding and leadership. Whew. How embracing my disability came a part of my branding. I would say, for an example, like today, you see this video of me talking about it, right? And choosing not to hide, right? I like to share, and I like to be conversational, but I also like to keep things to myself. And I would say trying to basically have this line between personal stuff and professional thing. Try to keep it separate. Like in the beginning, okay, so in the beginning, I didn't know I was gonna have this business, right? And so in the beginning, I was frustrated a lot going out into the world, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna teach everybody when I go out there. And then when I started teaching people, and I started learning more information, and I was like, you know, people really don't know this. But I was like putting my feelings in it. So I used to get frustrated at a lot of stuff real easily. And I'll give you an example, because it seemed petty, but it sounds petty. But when you deal with it, like almost everywhere you go, and you have more than one of these encounters throughout the day, it becomes a huge annoyance. And so, for example, when somebody Google Gaga my dog, my service dog, when we're in public, right? I used to be so frustrated, like, why are you talking to my dog? Like, talk to me. And at that time, I was experiencing more chronic pain than I am now. Praise the Lord, hallelujah. Listen, I still have some episodes, some flare-ups, but they sometimes And I just praise the Lord, because some people in the fibromyalgia community, I think they call it like, not regression, not regression, but like it's like a retreat, and so you still have flare-ups, but the long-term flare-ups though, the long-term flare-ups. Okay. The long-term flare-ups are not as long, I guess. What's a long-term flare-up for me? Months. I had when I didn't know about fibromyalgia, I can honestly say that I was in a flare-up, truthfully, my goodness, 2 to 3 years. And it sounds insane, but to wake up and to go to sleep at a pain level at a 6, like as soon as you wake up, you in chronic pain, and it only get worse from there. Or you wake up when your pain is 10, and you try to go to sleep and your pain is 10. You wake up out of your sleep when your pain is 10 or 6 or 7, and then it just, I know I experienced pain beyond a 10. I know I have. And I've never had children before, but I've had not chronic pain, but I had terrible cramps. But I know. I just know it. Like they say, if you know, you know. Period. Like, I know. Because there was a time where I was in so much pain that I couldn't talk. I couldn't think. I could hardly speak. I couldn't write. I couldn't walk. It was the worst. I literally, during that time, I thought I was going to die. But how has that helped me with my branding? It helps me to be able to convey the importance of using a service dog to the clients that I educate. I have lots of experience, of the importance of why these dogs, how they work, why they should be welcomed safely and respectfully into people's businesses, and what their rights are, right? And how to help a person who may have disabilities but don't experience the same things, or don't have a service animal, or don't have experience with service animals, or someone who works with people with disabilities, or just have these general customers who may have a customer who has disabilities that utilize a service animal. I get to be able to tell you what I have experienced in a way that's professional, and have a little bit of personality or personal experience to it, translated into professional, so that they can be able to successfully accommodate this group of disabled people, right? How does it help me in leadership? I will say, not just sitting on my notebook. Come in, Jupe. Jupe has allergies, and we need Benadryl, okay? So he has been itching. Oh my God, it got worse. Oh my goodness. I gotta go get some Benadryl today. My God. Okay. I'll make another another video on the challenges of having a service dog and taking care of him. Yeah. Anyway, so, oh no, whoopie dub. I'm sorry. I'm gonna rub your body. Oh, you're really hot. Let me see your nose. Okay, your nose is good. He good. Okay, focus. This is Jupiter. It's my service dog. He needs some maintenance. I finally gave myself some maintenance, so I'm gonna work on him next. And when I mean my maintenance, I mean he needs to get his feet, his nails clipped and stuff like that, and his paws trimmed from hair and all of that. He went to go get his shots about a week ago, and we waiting to get his follow-up shots. yeah, so we can do that. Stay compliant. So anyway, um, so I mean that's for people who have service dogs. Make sure you supposed to have your dogs to get shots. So leadership. How has embracing my disability or disabilities, um, how it became a part of leadership for me. And I'm sure this video will evolve. These answers will evolve in the future. Um, leadership, man, you become the first at something somewhere. So I'm not gonna say I'm the first to educate people about service animals and emotional support animals and therapy dogs and animals and stuff like that or whatever. I'm not the first, but I am the first in some places. I am the first somewhere. Now I do believe I'm the first compliance business and training in that regard. And so, but um, I I was in a shelter, so me and my service dog, we were homeless once. So she barely looked bad. They're gonna think I don't love you. Oh Jesus, just why you look like that? Your tongue. Let me see it. Yeah, I'm gonna take you a bath. Some apple cider vinegar and some coconut oil. But anyway, so me and Jupes, we were homeless for a while. We was homeless for about 4 years, and we've been to some shelters. And we had to be, because I was learning about service animals, I learned my rights. Now, if you don't know this about me, I'm a legal assistant, I'm a paralegal, and I like the law. So I'd be like, you can't do this to me. But we'll be done. So when I've been to a couple of like, what do you call that? Oh, shelters, and I had to be the first one. And they ask you these questions, right? Because they have rights and access even in shelters, service animals, and also emotional support animals as well. So anyway, I went to a local shelter, and they just did not know a lot about it. And they were asking me for things and documents that just don't exist. There is no registration. There is no federal login, or you know what I'm saying? And so you don't have to get a note from a trainer. There's a airport that I went to where it was like you gotta get the note from the trainer. My service animal is self-trained, right? I've had some trainers assist me, right? I've done some research and stuff like that. This my service dog is not the first dog I've ever trained, but he is the first service dog. Troops, why is your tummy this big? I'm gonna have to take it to the doctor. I don't know, Juice. I don't know if he's just a little bit chubby. Anyway, so anywho, so yeah, I had to be the first, and when you be the first somewhere, you're gonna get some backlash. You're gonna get some pushback. You're gonna get some questions. They're gonna question what you know. Sometimes they're not gonna believe you. Sometimes they're ignorant. They don't know these things, and so you have to build up confidence to be able to stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself, and advocate and be an activist for other people who may come. And so that's how I would say my disability, especially be having an invisible disability, right? Because I don't have a cane. Although at that time I did end up using a cane because I was so much pain and stuff like that in a walker, I didn't come in with that. And so sometimes all people see is this girl, this black lady with this dog. That's how I feel. And I do know that some people just think I'm like, just, what's the word? Like, I can't live without my dog, in a way of like, she just love her dog so much. You know what I mean? Not in a way of like I can't live. Like, I can live without my service dog, but my life is much better with my service dog, right? Like, that's why service. It's just like, well, I was gonna say, you know, There are times when my service dog literally has saved my life, like seriously. Um, yeah, and so because I was gonna say, like, if somebody has diabetes, can they live without insulin? I would say yes, but not for very long. You see what I'm saying? Can I live without oxygen? Yeah, but not for very long. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think they just thought I was some a lady who was just obsessed with their dog, um, and everything like that. And my dog used to be an emotional support animal. He did, but there is no law that's saying that you cannot train your emotional support animal to be a service dog. Now, with that being said, I just want to warn people who want to have a service dog or even an emotional support animal. You better make sure that you have disabilities, and you better make sure that you train your dog, your service dog, not emotional support dogs, because they don't have to be trained, but you better be sure that you train your service dog to assist with your disabilities. Okay? I'm just going, because I'm teaching these businesses on what to do, because businesses need to know how to navigate this world so that people with disabilities who have service dogs or want to utilize service dogs in the future, those who are disabled, right, they have the respect and the safety that they need in these environments. We can't have, I understand dog friendly environments, right, but we can't have people who can't control their dogs around our service dogs injuring them and things like that. Like, not only is it ridiculous and disrespectful, it's unsafe and it's not fair, right? It's definitely not righteous. Okay? It's not safe, okay? And it's unfair because when a service dog is injured, who is liable and responsible for that? Who is going to pay for another service animal? Understanding the time that it takes to train one, to get one, and the money and the cost, right? Just because somebody trains a service animal themselves don't mean it was free. It's not free, okay? But it helped me to become, embracing my disabilities helped me to become someone who says, okay, I already have challenges, and it had given me purpose and said, okay, well, I already have challenges, but I don't want the next person after me to endure the same challenges, or at least the backlash, the tsunami of the backlash, or the tsunami of frustration, the tsunami of unsafetyness, right? I don't even know this word, but the tsunami of, and I'm saying tsunami because sometimes that's what it feels like when you combat new things, new ideas, new way of thinking, and introduce that to people, you know. And so I'm still working on becoming a leader, because sometimes, I'm not even gonna lie, I don't be wanting to be seen, you know. Truth be told, the way I had pictured my life, I thought I was gonna be seen, but like on on a different kind of stage. I have an acting degree, and so that's already scripted, right? And I think that it's interesting now. I kind of have to write my own script, co-write it with the Lord, right? And so yeah, that's I think it's a little frustrating, but I know if I show up and somebody sees me, they're going to want to continue to do what they do with their disabilities, and know that progress doesn't look just like, you know, like this. It looks like this. It looks like this. It can look like this, you know, little dots. And so, but you just don't stop. So that is the high for it, if that even is a high. And so I'm like, I am grateful to embark upon this journey. I'm grateful to be able to build this brand. Um, Sometimes, if you've been following me for a minute, you find that I've disappeared, and I've come back, and it's. I think sometimes when I don't, what is that? That's a leaf. Okay. Sometimes when I don't post on social media as often as I really want to, if I'm stuck in my mind, right, or stuck in something like physically or whatever, um, I feel like people think that I'm not doing anything, and at some point it's just like, I get that people may think that, but they don't know what I do on a day-to-day basis. People don't know the challenges that you face really with disabilities. We can tell people, but unless they live this life, they may not ever completely understand. And you know what? That's okay, because we may not fully completely understand somebody else's story, but in some ways we can still relate, we can still inspire, and we can still tell our story, and convey it in a way where the people who do understand, or who are inclined to want to know more, so they can comprehend what you're going through in your journey, they can find it, and they will know, and people can find out ways that they can support you, you know. um, so this is where we in July, July 30th, I believe. My birthday was last week. Yes, last week. And I turned 35. I know I look good. God is good. We don't look like nothing we've been through, Juice, right? Okay, Juice said. He said I need to put him. So anyway, joyeux anniversaire to me. Pour moi. I think that's to me. And so, um, but this season I had got a grant. I won a grant, a small business grant, for underserved businesses in Iowa City. I'm from Houston, Texas, but I live in Iowa, and a lot of people don't know that because I haven't said it. But I'm very proud of myself, and the grant came right on time. Like, I was about to give up. I was in bed for 2 days or something, and I was like, Lord, I'm doing all this stuff. I don't know, man. Alright, I'm tired. Then the grant came through, and I was like, well, only God can do it. Only do. And so, okay, dang. So yeah, I won a grant, and I've been doing a lot of putting in places systems and organizing so that I can better receive and serve my clients, my targeted audiences, and people like you who want to know. So this is our first episode. Ooh, Juice, you know what? I just feel like you getting heavy. You almost 13 pounds. Juice has always been like around 10 and a half to 11 and a half pounds. He 12.4 pounds now, but he got a little older. You not chubby, Juice. It's all right. You not fat. You not fat. You not fat, Juice. He love vegetables. Okay. So yeah, this is our first behind the brand episode, and we have so many more to talk about. Hopefully I can, keep your focus, and that it's not cringe, which it probably will be because I'm in my at home office. I ain't got no social media editor or nothing like that. How do you like me? How do you like me? How do you like Juice tolerates me, and so he loves me. Just keep such a spine straight, Juice. This one I don't sit you up like this. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can know when my next episode come out. And I am releasing a free service animal etiquette video. It's gonna probably be about 15 minutes. Hopefully, I'm gonna keep it at that. On just general service animal etiquette. And I'll put out more information. We have something special coming out that I've been designing for a while, and oh my gosh, it's a little frustrating, but I'm get her done, okay? And I'm so excited to share it with you, and I want to be able to do some events with that, and just I'm so excited. I'm not gonna tell you right now. I'll tell you, that was a lick you so much you start getting nervous. Like, is he planning on eating me? You see what I'm saying? Cause you're licking me too much. Like, I'm tasting too good to you. And you know, I heard dash hounds eat. You know, never mind. We're not gonna go there. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get the updates. Don't forget to like so you can bump this up for people who may want to view this content, who will find this content helpful or inspirational. This is our community. And also, meet me in the comments, okay? And be positive in the comments. And just shout out to me if you have disabilities or even challenges. What tips or things that you find is a high and a low with embracing your disabilities, how it impacts your brand or your everyday life, and with the lows, like how has your disability made your life not easy, and what do you do to combat that? Because I think I should make a video about what do I do to combat those things as well. And so thank you so much. I'm gonna wash my hands for watching our video. Yum yum. And and we'll see y'all next time. Au revoir. Say bye, Jupiter. He don't like the camera. Who be there? No, who be there? No, who be there? No. No. Yeah. Ready? Boop. We did it. We did it. Bro. Oh, that's crazy. Wow. That's so wild. Wow. Okay, it's cool. 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 It's cool.